camera is rolling. A camera is rolling.
B is rolling. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mike.
Mike McGrath, B-roll. Take one.
Wait till Patrick gets started.
So, Mike, what are you sketching today? Tell me about that.
Well, today I'm sketching a camp that's never been drawn before. It was a dungeon that I was in for the last year of the war. We called it Dog Patch because it was it was bad. It was up by the Chinese border under a triple canopy jungle, hidden away from American drones and intelligence. They had 209 of us up there for the last year of the war. When the war was heating up in 1972, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, they whisked 209 of us out of the camp of 350 in downtown Hanoi, in the Hanoi Hilton. They loaded us up in trucks, half-ton trucks, military trucks with canvas tarps, blindfolded us, handcuffed us, and gave us a urine bucket and about 10 per cup. And we traveled for 27 straight hours without a head call. And we just had to use that bucket as we bounced along for 27 straight hours from midnight through the next day and the next night until 3 in the morning, and we arrived at this jungle camp. And this is a picture of it. We found it. After 40 years, the POWs found this thing and been deserted for 40 years. So it's all overgrown now, and it's like Angkor Wat, maybe when they discovered Angkor Wat. It's jungle vines everywhere. They're hanging down. And as I came around the corner, fighting my way through these jungle vines, I saw a shadow of a building, along with the ruins of other buildings. There were about 12 buildings. They'd each held about 10 to 19 different things. They held 209 of us, but most of them have been destroyed. But here was a building with these jungle vines on it, and it was dark. And I thought, maybe it's mine. And sure enough, it was. As I went around the building, I found the entrance. I found my way inside. It was intact, pitch black. You couldn't see anything, just the way we lived for 1 year. 1 year, there was 19 of us. There was 20 in my room, in my building. 9 at one end, 9 at the other end, and 2 solitary rooms. And so we talked to each other in the dark for 1 year. No lights, no electricity, no running water, no toilet, and just pitch black. And here's a picture somebody took. It's pitch black in there, but the flash illuminated the walls. So we lived in total darkness up there for 1 year, and they let us out twice a day to wash out our underwear and get some food, and then locked us back up. So what I'm doing, you asked the question, I'm making a sketch of this prison, and I've got the building started here, and I've got the floor plan all exactly laid out. I'll link this in later. You know, it'll take more time, but right now the preliminary sketch is to get where everybody was sleeping. I slept here. My best friend slept here. The senior ranking officer slept here, and I know who the solitary guy. So I know where everybody slept because we memorized everything. And so I got the floor plan, and I've got this. And what I'm doing is right now I'm putting in dark shadows. So I've got the preliminary sketch, and like what they had was these air vents. They're up about 10 feet tall, and they're about this wide and this big, but the walls are about 2 feet thick of stone. So all you saw was a gray glow up there. There was no discernible light that would shine on your face. So if I was talking to somebody this close, I couldn't see his face. So we just learned each other's voices and got to know each other. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a dark line that will be those air vents, those slots. And I got them all marked out here. And then as my contrast, and then they'll show those. See, just to look at just little dark lines. That's an air vent. It's that easy to draw. And when I get a pencil in my hand, I can draw anything. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but there they are. There's the slots, and I'll make another vent right here. And there's the air vents on that building. Now, there's got to be shadow and depth and contrast, so I'll color in this into the building for a shadow, for depth.
I'll tell you what, Mike, because I want to get a camera over your shoulder, seeing
Okay.
what you're doing there.
Okay.
So that description of what, the way you fill in the, sorry, I've got a little bit of cough. I would like to get up
Okay.
so I can cover that. I
Sure.
can do that. So let's talk about when you came in. I think there was, and do we have the wire here by any chance?
Yeah, she's got it.
Okay, great. So let's talk about when, I mean, I remember that you went there and you had to scare out the snakes as well
Yeah.
as you went. And so
Okay.
talk about finding this, because it was, even the Vietnamese didn't know about
No,
it. Right?
it was really hidden
And
away.
also you might want to mention.
And it was new, it was unoccupied. They built it for us.
I think you might want to mention that my understanding is they took you up there because they thought they would take you over into China if there was.
Not that, no, they hate the Chinese. They've been at war for thousands of years. Except they were friends. They were shooting down airplanes together, and but they basically don't trust the Chinese. They hate them. The Chinese come and go across their border. They're just too powerful. And then 6 years after our thing in '73, by '79, they were at a full-fledged war in this area. The Chinese captured this area in that war and took away their northern provinces and just occupied them.
So describe as how you found this place, though,
Okay.
and what you saw as you approached. And I'm gonna take a little bit of cough syrup real quick here. I'll take it, Gare.
Give him the wire.
I got some. I got some cough drops up there too, if you
Yeah,
want.
we've got some. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that cough
Oh,
syrup.
sorry. Don't take
No,
a huge dose,
I won't.
or else he'll be sleeping over.
Sounds like a mother. Did mother say that, or a wife? Let's see. Who said that?
Same thing.
Sometimes it's really hard to tell the difference, isn't it?
She just
Well,
wants
if
to
you
knock
guys
him out.
weren't such idiots, we wouldn't have to tell you things
I know.
like that, right?
And we're in training. I know that.
She's got me potty trained. That much she's been able to accomplish. The rest of it I kind of ignore. Okay, so talk to me about the discovery of this, because
Okay. Well, let's go back to after 27 hours in a jungle rutted jeep road bouncing around. There were no road systems up in that area. It was a jungle patch in Langson province near China, but it was a jungle area. No good roads. So we finally arrived. It's 4 a.m. They unloaded us out of the truck, and it was dark, so they took the blindfolds off and they started putting us together in groups of 20. And I just happened to be in a group of 20 that went into a building, and we got in the cell. We were feeling the walls, and we felt this hole. We got in the door, and there was 2 kind of bunk beds, all dirty with plaster, and they'd fallen down from people when they built it. And my roommate and I were just putting our bedbowl down, and one of our other friends yelled, "Snake! Cobra! Cobra! He's on the bedboard. He's coming down, and he's heading for the rat holes." The rat holes were the water drainage areas into the hallway and out the building in case of flood. And the guys were in there walking through with their bedrolls, and they heard the snake was coming into the passageway where we were. So they turned around and they just picked up the Vietnamese and carried them. The guards were saying, "Go back, go back." And when these guys picked them up, said no, and they ran out the building carrying the Vietnamese. We set them down, and they were saying, "Go in, go in." And we said, "No, we're not going in. Snake, snake." So we wouldn't go in. Now, last we saw, they were going in with sticks and guns looking for the cobra. Then they took us to another building, which is this. So guess what our call sign was for the next year? Cobra Flight. So we were called Cobra Flight. Now, when we got in there, we looked for places to hang our mosquito nets. Well, 30 years later, after it had been abandoned all these years, 15 of us hired a guy to go look for this camp. And when we were still in the States, he found it because he knew the province to look in. And then we came over as 15 guys with our wives on a tour, and we found this on our own, not with the Vietnamese this time, and found this. I had to force Marlene to go in because she had just had hip operated on.
sorry, Mike, this thing is right in your eyes.
That's all right.
I'm gonna just
That
get rid
doesn't
of it.
bother me.
Yeah, we should back him up and to The thing blocked your eye.
Does that,
Yeah, back up to they were forcing you in, and you discovered the cobra.
okay, so,
Sorry to do that.
so, when the, years later, when we found this place,
No, go all the way back to you arrived in the trucks. It's
oh, and
about
arrived in the trucks, okay.
27-hour
So,
trip.
well, once we got settled into this room right here, which I've drawn a floor plan of, that it was black. The next day we woke up, it's still black, and it stayed black for the next 8 months, and we learned to hang our mosquito nets. We searched around the walls till we found little pieces of wire that we could hang up a mosquito net, because you had to have a mosquito net to survive. Otherwise, you'd have 10,000 bug bites. So every night you'd slip underneath your mosquito net and you could sleep through the night. Some guys swore they could hear snakes coming in and out of the building. We had cobras, bamboo vipers, and kraits up there. We had 3 types of poisonous snakes, and they're all very dangerous. The guards walking the trail would sometimes get hit at nighttime, and there'd be a lot of excitement, and some guard would die on the trail with excitement. But we killed some in the rooms, but luckily nobody got bit. So that was the thing. But this has a story, because I found a place to hang my mosquito net by hooking this piece of wire over another piece of wire cemented in the wall. They had spots for mosquito nets. 30-some years later, I returned to my cell and I said, I used to hang my mosquito net right about, and I put my finger there. This thing was hanging right there. So I grabbed it, took it off, put it in my pocket, and so this is my memory. This is my memory of Dog Patch. That's after after some 30 years. So I treasure this.
Beautiful. Fantastic, Mike. So I'm gonna, I gotta fix this light, Bill, so it doesn't keep creeping in. Let's cut for a second,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna get some tape.
Oh, careful, it's gonna hit